and how to utilize energy on a day-to-day basis, man. And y'all check this out, man. As y'all can see by the title, man, we got to talk about it, man, because who dream is you necessarily building? A lot of us came up and come through the same program and see the same networking and all these things of what we call successful or what we call rich or what we see in the world of what we call civilized. Even when it coming out of that, it get deep, y'all, because when it come down to how this world appear for it to be, we don't even realize that we be the walking blueprint of somebody else's imagination. Now, what I mean by that is us as Americans, we're not living our dream. We actually helping somebody else put together their dream. So even if we got to break our back to, keep the companies running, a lot of us would do that and expect the company just to have simple things of loyalty, even just to pay you the times you can't work or to be able to understand if you have to call out a time or two, just to be more reasonable. But a lot of times in this world, dog, that ain't what you get. You know what I'm saying? You can scratch somebody else's back. That don't mean they're going to scratch yours. So when it comes down to the waist, they'll have you bending back, forward, all this stuff for the wrong individuals or at the wrong time for the wrong situations. So I ain't telling you to all the time pick your family or something like that. But understand how this junk play out, y'all, because it get deep, man, right? So we got to look at it for what it is. So even when people try to do spiritual videos or woke videos, however you want to say it, it get to a point where there even a separation inside of that, where we have like this, this little thing amongst ourselves because making sure we practice what we preach. You get what I'm saying? But a lot of people can't do that. And it makes it like, okay, how do we supposed to do these things without being able to attain it? So I'm not finna come here and sit here and tell you that, everybody gonna be able to just do this in one walk. No, what I'm saying is it's a process. So when you start looking at what's actually going on in the world, that's what it is. When people starting to get hemp and starting to wake up and be actual adult spirits and start to see, this junk was full of gematria, numerology, and sacred geometry and things of them just having us confused. So they ran you away from things, ran you into things that wasn't for your favor, and ran you away from the things that was actually, the things that belong to you in the correct way. Now, if y'all don't understand it, the simplest way I could put that is just saying, how the food was good, and now we got so much of things inside of the food. We got more ingredients in the food than the damn food have itself. Like, how some fruit actually produce, juice, sugars, and certain things. No, now you got preserves, you got color, you got all this different stuff now there where you have more than what the food is. You got 53 things on the label of one food item. You get what I'm saying? And that's just the food thing. That's just one thing. So when they get to other marketings and stuff like that, we see it all collapsing. We see they whole little dream of what the world take to run and all that stuff is coming to an end. And it's not what they said it was going to be or projected it to be. You know what I'm saying? So even with the movies and stuff like that, you got to pay attention because they'll have it like, the Matrix is falling. And a lot of people might not understand it. They might think like, okay, it's just a bunch of people, going crazy. No, it's a bunch of people in reality actually snapping out of the thing of what they call sanity. Because that's what it really is. The thing they tell you is sanity is just for you to keep building or playing on their playground. But really, you're the actual one that's out of your mind. So no matter how smart you think you is, you actually building a circle to where you just working your whole life away, or you're playing wolf eat wolf. So you're taking away somebody else or keep putting other people in damaging situations just for you to proceed throughout them. So this is the type of world that we got, y'all. This is what's going on, and this is what people getting tired of. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes down to the education system, when it comes down to the rights or the politics, everything someone has tied their life into of growing up beyond these years, the early 1900s and stuff like that, it has completely switched. Now, I'm not saying everything is actually good on what's going on, but what I'm saying is people starting to realize, like, yo, you been fooled, you been tricked. That wasn't the only project that existed. That wasn't the only tarot card that they played on you. That wasn't the only secret agenda that was going on before you even realized what was going on. You get what I'm saying? Because that's how it works at the end of the day. So that's the reason why I wanted to come up here and just break it down, because it's like, yo, we got to acknowledge when we moving forward as a people for this as a conscious thing, but that's it. But otherwise with that, we go subconsciousness. We always going to talk about the mentality of the people, because we still going to see the people that don't know how to control their mind, because the people is reaching for things that don't exist. So what they do is give their power to a golem, and that golem, without that golem being there to be able to hold them and help them, with things in their mind, a lot of them will lose it. So the small talk is just saying, a person that's like got Christianity in their life, a lot of them people have that, and that'd be the only thing they have. Because without that, some of them be like real deal psychopaths and not have the mental, how I'm gonna say, the mental training to be able to keep their own spaceship inside. You know what I'm saying? You got to be TTG when it comes to your mentalities. You know what I'm saying? You got to know which one to jump into and how to jump into it. And they're saying you're going to be perfect. But that's the point of you learning. You get what I'm saying? That's the point of you experiencing. I don't even like using learning to a degree, because the way that they like to play it out is like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful, because you be learning how to be into a square. You be learning how to put a spell on yourself. And that's a lot of things that go on when people get too caught up into these politics, you know, this business, this education, religion, you know, everything with it. You know, even the education system of how far you can get lost into these things, you know. And that just brings me down to the thing of like, you know, as the people, of course, somebody don't want to hear that every day. So even with me, right, I fell back from even coming up here. So when the rest of the world able to start seeing what's going on, it'll be more of what's the normal. You know what I'm saying? Instead of us making a normality or making a norm something that don't have us in its favor at all. So if we sitting over there arguing about rappers, arguing about who fouls, arguing about what team gonna win and stuff like that, none of this is gonna push us nowhere in life for us to actually evolve or for us to be able to keep building off these constructs. Now, with things like friendly competition and stuff like that, just keeping it simple, is ways of us with improvement. So even if y'all see it with the car companies, even if y'all see it with the housing, even if y'all see it with real estate, it's always, you know, other people that's building on the things. Now, the way that the evolution supposed to work was basically, and it is still, because there ain't nothing they could do to stop evolution in that way. You get what I'm saying? So the way it's still working is you still see everything evolving. You done seen where we didn't have cars, didn't have transportation. Now we got it. Now we got transportation at a lighter thing, moving at a faster rate with a smaller motor. All of this different stuff. So you see the evolution throughout everything else with the processing of that. But the thing about it is, it'd be a two different stages. Now the evolution on the mind stage would be, you know, like how we seeing people starting to get him to being adult spirits instead of letting somebody just tell them something, a boogeyman story, and they believe it. So they never look under the bed because somebody told them the boogeyman was under there. That's like Christians. You know what I'm saying? They never step outside of the square because somebody told them this is all that's in that square. So you better not step outside of it. So this is, you know, these are the little boundaries they have. So they even give you little things to feed the golem to make you feel like you shouldn't step outside of it. But now what is happening is that same golem that people that gave all this power to is starting to feel them when it comes down to this dimension. So like spiritually it been happening, but now they're starting to see the falling of it. You know what I'm saying? Now they're starting to see the same thing of the ideology of how they wanted people to think and how they wanted people to move in life is starting to change. People not thinking like that no more. People not feeling like that no more. People starting to get a mind of their own. So it's only like two sides to it. Either their side or your side. And the funny part about it is your side is all the people's side that's actually subconscious woke. It's like y'all share that. And that's what is the subconscious connection and stuff. So it's like they taught you how to divide and conquer so much that subconsciously people can't even connect. So it's not an actual real telekinesis. They'll rather play that out in the physical world too. They'll play things out so physical that a person won't be focused on the actual connectivity of one another. Not saying that everybody connect the way that you think, but it takes two. You get what I'm saying? So like even with the jumper cables, or even with just you know, to keep your car running, you got a positive and a negative. Now the way that it can be looked at is just a red or a black. You don't have to use positive or negative in that way. But the way that you got to put it is these two things represent something else. One of them represent, you know, gaining power, and one of them represents like conducting power. So when you got them both going together, it's regulating power. So it's the same thing with like you trying to help or regulate your mind. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to understand it, not to get too caught up in your thoughts, not to get too caught up in your feelings. Sometimes these thoughts might not be your thoughts. Sometimes these feelings might not be your feelings. Remember, we all live in the atmosphere. So you might share something or have a connection or connected to something that's not necessarily you. You get what I'm saying? So this helps us be able to understand messages from one another. So even when it comes down to, you know, what it is, when you walk by somebody and you feel like you know them before or seen them before, all that type of different type of stuff, it get deep when you talk about soul ties, when you talk about, you know, soul mates, twin flames. It's so many different things of what we call it, but the way that people play it out is they make it sound like it's all imaginary. But like, no, that be the thing of what it was of you can't quite explain it. You're like, how I thought I knew this person in this lifetime and I don't even know them at all. They never been in the area I thought they been in it. I swear I seen them at this area, this and that there. You get what I'm saying? So like it be more of the essence behind who you are. So a lot of times that's the reason why I be telling people don't lose who you are, because this is what make it hard for your essence to even be recognized. You can't, if you don't be yourself, how can you expect for people to, you know who you are? So regardless, you know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all, man, it don't matter who in here, I'm going in. It done been times where I done sat in and talked to my damn self in the house. You get what I'm saying? But sometimes we got to understand when we got a message of God, it ain't just for us to sit and dwell in it. Sometimes you got to get that message off. And like they used to say back in the days, don't be mad at the messenger. Don't be mad about the message. Be mad about the message or however you want to look at it. That's how people is. They don't listen to the message. They listen at the messenger. They be looking at them like, look at the messenger though. Like, nah, but sometimes you got to hear the message of what's coming out to this person. Because it ain't like some people be talking out the end of their ass all the time. Even sometimes a fool to have wise words. You get what I'm saying? So the way that they play these out is putting fools that don't have wise words or have the wise words, and this be the time they clip it, or this be the time they try to, I'm going to say, add on to it to make it look bigger than what it is. So when it come down to people that's actually speaking or actually breaking down real ways to be able to withstand yourself or be able to keep control of your actual minds, they like to play with those people. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have things where they can play with algorithms where you could be up here 15 years and you could still have 3 to 0 or 0 viewers. You could have 50,000 and somebody could get up there for 3 days. Somebody could take your information, say it the same way you said it, and get more clout than you off your own shit. So this is the type of world that we playing with. So that at the end of the day, these will be the kinks and kinks that we start facing as people. So you already got it going on, right? In the working spirit where people starting to really feel like, okay, yeah, maybe those wages was enough to get by. But at this point, minimum wage damn sure ain't livable. So you have a whole generation, right, of Gen X being like, what's the point of us keep going on this? Now, let me tell y'all this, too, before we get too deep. Work gonna come. Not saying you're supposed to do the same work every day in the same order just to get something done and that many hours in it. Sometimes it don't take that long. You feel what I'm saying? But the work itself is gonna come. But the way that they make you work and the wages that you get for your work, like I say all the time, an hour. You get what I'm saying? So imagine this. Somebody go work 2 hours and now they can afford be able to sit down at a restaurant. But yet the person that they're sitting down at the restaurant that's serving them is making less than that as well. So neither one of them can afford that bill that they about to have. Even the person that's bringing it, the person that's cooking it, and the person that's fixing it all at once. But yet this is how it works. You get what I'm saying? And we get it. I get it. Trust me. I get business. I get how people supposed to be able to make money, how these companies supposed to be able to make money. But let's just put it like this. 1 in 16 is a big difference, man. If somebody making more than 80%, it's way more wages and cuts. So however you could dig into that. But the way that they like to play it out is to make people want to work more hours. So therefore, you do more work for less pay and for more time. You get what I'm saying? So even when it come down to them small cutting the sizes, doing shutdowns, making companies have less employees behind it, the people that's there actually catch a harder hit than the people that was ever there before. Because now they got to make up for the people that was there. So they got to try to keep up with the sales and the production and the speed and the rate that these other individuals had it when it was multiple of them. But now it's only just these 3. You get what I'm saying? These 4. And that's the way that these things run. Because they want to see who and how far we're willing to go. And now people is getting to the limit that they don't went so far, they ain't no more where they could go. And people starting to give up, you know what I'm saying? Where you see people like, man, I'd rather be homeless than to keep putting up with this shit. And sometimes, y'all, as a movement, we got to stop looking at other generations and getting mad about them. You got a whole generation, all right, like Gen Z and stuff. Yeah, they could be looked at as lazy if you want to look at them that way. But at the same time, they could be looked at as people that just tired of living this colonized ass way of era. You know what I'm saying? And that's just it. And it's like, it don't make sense. Like, why am I doing all this just to get this little bit? And I have to do all this every day for this little bit, my rest of my whole life away. And then I don't have no life. I just worked the whole life away. So at the end of the day, that's why I just threw this in the title. Yo, who dream are we building at the end of the day? You know what I'm saying? It can't be ours. And that's the thing. Our dreams just be exactly what it is, just a dream. They make sure if we bring it to reality, they give us problems with it. So they know just an easy cut in the game. Every time we get good at the game, they switch it up, they change the rules, they lean thing over, and we always playing that. So when we say the Matrix or the Monopoly and things be monopolized, things be capitalized and stuff like that, we got to understand these are them trying to mark territory onto something new. So just like we see now, you can invent something, somebody's going to come try to snatch it up, they're going to try to put it under their branding, or they'll tell you that it wasn't legal for you to do it, but nowadays it's legal for them to do it because now they made laws around it. So it's always that, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's like no matter what, we see that we have a group of individuals with a mentality of colonizing. And I know a lot of people gonna think that I'm just talking about white people. No, it's Africans and all those that be colonized as well. Even people from cross seas and shit. multiple foreigners and all. Like this is a agenda that be pushed, and it's like agreements, right? It's like just like how you look at the Freemasons with a brotherhood. Look at it the same way because it's all the same shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you're looking at it from that perspective, you can understand. Like even if this person get caught and we don't catch the rest of them too, we got to know that this person gonna blow up themselves and not allow to get to nobody else. So this is how they play these type of games. So we got to have the same thing with each other. But the main thing we do still right now is we still penalize each other, even if it's something 50 years in the past. And it's like, yo, goddamn, you ain't giving nobody no leg room, but yet these individuals that you don't know nothing about, and you only bet them from success, and you pick the biasness over them, you never do no research on who this person even is. But you get what I'm saying? That's the way they like to play the game. So we got people that, like to serve two masters, people that like to, play both sides of the game, however you want to look at it. So at the end of the day, this is the reason why we have spiritual or people that's so-called higher perspective or breaking down politics and all of these different type of people. And I was going to name some individuals, but how YouTube is, like with the people that's on it, a lot of these people don't get outside and deal with regular people no more. So you can say their name or say something about them, they take it the wrong, complete way. And I don't really give a fuck about how nobody take it. But at the same time, I'm not going to keep speaking on somebody or certain bodies, you know what I'm saying, in every fucking video. Not their name, at least, man. Just got to keep it real, Sometimes that ain't all that's needed for it. So at the end of the day, that's the reason why I want to come up here and say this. Like, we're beating the odds of us getting tired. That's the whole point. When we get tired of a system, when people start getting fatigued with the actual things they're supposed to be fatigued with, not what these dudes be talking about, some black fatigue, white fatigue. No, man. They studied using things on y'all to make y'all divide against each other. So at the end of the day, you're still not going to be able to understand how each other is trying to work and be able to support each other to get through things. That's the way they like to play the game, dog. You know what I'm saying? And we should be part of it. So, like, you know what I'm saying? You got to pick whether you're going to be the little player of the game or you're going to be an actual important piece. So, you know what I'm saying? They'll play it like that. So they even name things like the Horsemen. And they'll make it like, okay, once you get out this person, well, if you could get past this person, you doing something crazy. You must be done amp your game up. You know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So now they got to play different games with you. Same thing with the internet, how they got a shadow ban and, push people shit in a different part of an algorithm. Sometimes they'll push you on purpose to an algorithm that's like purposely is biased against you. So a lot of us as content creators, what we start to realize is a lot of times we get more negative comments and negative things than positive. So I'm gonna tell y'all like this right now. If a person on the internet trying to change their mind and they been doing this, they done molded their head to the, or just naturally they didn't give a fuck what nobody else was saying anyways. I'm telling you, that's what it takes on here, because you gotta have all of that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have all of it. No matter how much work you try to put in, and none of that does, sometimes it be counted against you. And sometimes you just gotta use it and go with it. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's all I wanted to break down. Just a quick live. Break down a couple of these little things, because I've been going, like I said, 2 weeks or something like that, man. So at the end of the day, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. It's hard to be consistent if at the same time you always feel a type of way. So it takes two, man. Even with yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I got to have my mind and my body at this bitch at the same time. I can't just get up here and just be talking and I got something going on in my mind heavy, because I know they'll use it as agenda and make it like, okay, this is what's going on with everybody. Or, okay, this is how you should look at this person. So sometimes we got to know when to take our breaks. Just like, you had the weekends, you got the week throughout the week, you got all this stuff up. Some things, going the opposite way, or some things go where they don't necessarily want to be at. So sometimes, even if I want to get up here and make a video or get on here and talk about some of the things, sometimes it's best for me to let it go by. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you always speaking on everything, it starts building expectations. And one thing about the expectations thing is it's weird, right? Especially now. If somebody tell you fell off if you never had it. They just only seen you with it twice, and they'll say you fell off. Like, nah, that's just how it is. That's just how the internet is. Like, it's just funny at them. Like, even with different type of content creators, it don't matter which one you do. It just depends on how the algorithm trying to sway you. And that's just what it is. Or I'm a regular person. Sometimes I just don't feel like watching that type of video today. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I was saying, y'all, I got the full understanding of that too, man. Like, you got to be understanding, and overstanding with this type of stuff here. You got to know all the stands, goddammit. Because if you don't, you're going to get placed under one. Or you're going to get used as a stand. You get what I'm saying? All you're going to be is an example of what not to do to people. I mean, what not to do as a person. This is what you do not do. Like, that's what you're going to be labeled as. So at the end of the day, man, I just wanted to bring down some of this to y'all and break it down. But I got to start back going live a lot more though, because at the end of the day, that's what helped you with your flow. You know what I'm saying? When you lose your flow a little bit, it's okay to take a break, like I was said earlier. But when your ass go away from 2 weeks, 3 weeks like that, there ain't no good excuse for a game. You know what I'm saying? You got to tighten up. Ain't nothing in the world you could do like that. If you stop going to your job for 2 to 3 weeks, the job not going to even want to fuck with you. You feel what I'm saying? So make sure, you stay tuned, stay consistent. That is the key, even though if it feels like it's not working. A lot of times we do be consistent in things that's not meant for us, right? A lot of times we be study trying to apply ourselves to something, and it might not be for you. Sometimes you got to apply yourself to something different, which brings me back to the title of this movie. I mean, the title of this video, however you want to look at it. I said a movie because that's what it is when I'm looking at it. Like, I'm looking at the picture of life, of how it is, right? Of how time be passing by, how you have these moments, and you jumping into these things and not really realizing what's going on until that moment that pass you by. Now you kind of hit like a spiritual screenshot or a rewind, and then you start going back through the time and start realizing, oh, okay, I could have done bump, 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 bump. I could have made this move. I could have made that move there. I should have did this better than I did that. So this is how you start building your mentalities of how you should have handled yourself, especially if you come in the structure of not crashing out, of doing things that prevent you from crashing out. You get what I'm saying? So when you packing your mind with that type of stuff, not packing your mind like this motherfucker got me fucked up, I gotta show this motherfucker this. Nah, that type of stuff, they're gonna get you to wreck out. But when you sitting there like, man, I ain't even wasting my time. I know I'm gonna end up at if I go ahead and act up. You know what I'm saying? I already know, dog, this ain't gonna end me nowhere nice, and this person really ain't on that. However, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta know how to talk yourself about it. Yeah, I be saying people let their own conscience be their worst nightmare. They be like, damn, you had how many? You ain't have an angel and a demon here. You had 4 damn demons just chilling. 2 of them over here like, yeah, tell them, man. Tell them about to say you had the whole thing instigated. You know what I'm saying? So be careful what you can put inside your own mind. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get lost by that. But anyways, man, I'm out. OG Drip. I'm going to make a part 2 about this whole thing tomorrow.